Hello, and welcome to episode 50. That's right, episode 50 of High and Outside, an irreverent sports ball podcast. I'm Oz, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Take the L himself, MC Commish. We made it. We're here. We're at episode 50. We're so happy that you're here with us. As always, please check us out at AOK Worldwide on Twitter. You can find all of our episodes on iTunes, Spotify. You can go to our domain, aokworldwide.com, and you can find all of our stuff there as well. Please also check out our YouTube channel, AOK Worldwide. And I think that's all of the formalities. Commish, what you got for one-hitters this week?
Hockey is still going on, so we're going to continue.
Hanging by a thread.
Lightning look to close out the Canadians tonight in Game 5.
Yeah, they've looked very impressive. And
Canadians are the underdog story, and the underdog has lost to the overdog, if you will.
Absolutely. I think they close them out tonight.
Yeah, I agree. F1 update. Max had basically a Sunday cruise, from what I understand, at the Austrian.
Yeah, it was never in doubt that it was the Austrian Grand Prix. It was never a doubt that Max was going to run away with the race. It was all the things happening behind Max that made it at all interesting. Penalties. Lando Norris drove really well. Did have a questionable penalty that may have cost him second, but he still is first. Still a podium for him. And Checo was all over the place. He had 2 penalties.
Yeah.
Just involved in all sorts of stuff. Leclerc, all those guys were all in the mix. Ferrari had a pretty good day to come back and place where they did. McLaren had a great day. Lando, obviously, we already talked about, but Ricardo was like P6. So.
And he qualified, and he had a good he qualified at not 6th.
No, he was like P12 or P13 to start. So, yeah, he had a good day.
That was a pretty good day for McLaren. That's what they brought him in there for.
Yeah, he had a good car, too. I think they're starting to figure that car out a little bit.
And it's only, how many races into the season?
We're like race 6 or 7 or something like that.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah, we're about a third of the way through the F1 season.
And then the summer break, right?
It's coming up.
Yeah.
We have 2 weeks.
The summer break is 2 weeks long, though, right?
No. So we have a 2-week break right now until the British Grand Prix, which is in Silverstone on the 18th. And then there's another 2-week break before the Hungarian Grand Prix, the last weekend in July, or first weekend in August, that weekend. And then there's almost a full month as the summer break before we come back in Belgium and then finish the season in December in Abu Dhabi. So there's a lot of racing left.
But it just kind of feels.
Well, it's like we were talking about last week. Ultimately, is Mercedes even going to try and win this championship, or are they completely focused on spending their money towards next year's car? Lewis took some damage during the race this weekend, and basically strategically was P5. He basically just created traffic for Valtteri to get second. So it was interesting.
So a team.
Yeah, they actually kind of pulled the team thing, which again, not that they don't, but usually it's the other way around. But I mean, it was part of the fact was Lewis had damage, and he was never going to be able, because of that, he wasn't going to be able to keep up. So it made sense.
And before we start the festivities of kind of our top 5 list we've been talking about to add up to 50 or whatever, the Royals still suck.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah.
They might be the worst team in baseball.
Yes, they are. I have to look at the records again, but it is very depressing.
Yeah, they're not good. So for our 50th episode, we decided we were going to do 5. Well, first we were going to do 5 lists of 10, that we were going to try to come up with 5 consensus top 10 lists between Commish and I. That was never going to happen. We got into that, and that was a really dumb idea. But what we have done is we've created 5 where we each gave our own top 5. So we still add up to 50. We're going to give you 10 of our favorite things in various different categories. Let us know if some of your suggestions, hit us up in the comments, hit us up in the reviews, talk about, what are your, if we missed some, I'm sure we will. Our lists are certainly not perfect.
As I said before we recorded,
yeah, Alex.
As soon as I say my list,
Commish already regrets all of his choices. But we're going to give you 5 of our own, 5 favorite top 5 things. And they're not even really ranked. They're just 5 of our favorites.
We haven't tried ranking them that was
Yeah.
a good idea too. We just
People who make lists, man, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as easy as you think it is.
way to go. Shout out to all list makers.
So
Hashtag list makers.
yeah. So we did a bucket list, or we did a vibes like a couple of years ago, or a couple months ago. Not a couple of years ago. We made it that long. We did vibes like a while back. It was one of our very first hashtag vibe section that was bucket list events that we'd like to attend. So for our first, in honor of that, and as a callback to one of our previous episodes, we are doing each going to list 5 sporting events that we have not had the chance to go to in person that we would want to do.
And looking at our lists,
We have very similar lists.
pretty much the same lists. But it's a good list.
Yeah, I just need to get to some of these things so I can start mixing in some like other things that are like maybe a little more obscure, but at the moment because I haven't gotten a chance to go to some of these what I would call like staple world sporting events, I just can't bring myself to add in like, I want to go to a football game at LSU. Like that sounds fucking awesome. I really want to go there. If we have any hookups down in Louisiana and Baton Rouge, the DMs are open.
Yeah, exactly.
We will do a live podcast from Death Valley. I'm happy to do it.
Shoulder that burden.
But because I haven't had a chance to go to the Masters, for example, number 1 on my list, I can't put Death Valley on there.
No,
Like
you
it has to be the Augusta.
Yeah.
So Augusta is number 1 for me.
I mean, you have the Olympics. I went Masters Olympics. You did Masters Olympics on the.
So before we move on past the Olympics, dream Olympics city. If you like, one is, are you going to summer? 'Cause I'm going summer for sure.
Yeah, I don't like to be cold.
Yeah, I mean, I just think summer's a lot more watchable. There's a lot more events that you can actually like really watch. Like when people are doing ski jumping, it looks really cool, but you can only watch it from like so far away. Like if you're in the gym with the volleyball players or in the gymnastics, like you're seeing quite a bit of cool stuff, right? Swimming even though swimming is like, you're kind of in there. Like, I don't know. It's better than like the jump thing. I don't know. So summer for me for sure, but what's the city? Dead air.
Yeah. I don't know. A fun city.
I shouldn't have been so spontaneous with this.
I don't know.
I've sent him into a spiral.
Yeah. I've had a day.
No, I agree with you. Tokyo was one of the ones that I first thought about. Was like if I could go to one in Tokyo, that would be cool.
Would have been cool.
Rio would have been dope.
World Cup, my bad.
No, Rio Olympics 2016. Yeah. London was like, that would be a nice city to be in, but I'm just listing off other random cities. I'm just listing now cities that have had Olympics. Like,
LA.
yeah, gonna have one soon.
On my list.
Yeah, none of the American cities would be on my list just because like
I
can go to those cities. Like I'd rather like go somewhere cool and like have that be like my experience of that city. Rome would be really cool.
Did they have a South Africa?
South Africa had a World Cup.
World Cup.
Yeah. Speaking of, World Cup final is also on my list.
I have World Cup final with the U.S. men's national team. You said bucket list. It doesn't have to be plausible.
That's true. I mean, obviously that would be the dream for me. If I could go to any World Cup final, I would go.
Oh.
So
Yes,
yeah.
without
So
question.
they would definitely be on my list either way. I'd love it. Let's go U.S. men's national team. Going this weekend to watch them play in Kansas City in the Gold Cup. Really
I
pumped
think
about
I am
that.
too.
Yeah, I'm going Sunday.
Not like the 17th.
It's the 11th. They are playing there. Also, they're playing all of the for all of our listeners. All of the U.S. men's national team Gold Cup group games are in Kansas City.
Okay,
So
I'm going to the next one, but yeah, fucking nice.
yeah, so go U.S. men's national team.
Oh yeah.
Monaco.
Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco. I want to go to any F1 race, and honestly, from like a racing standpoint, Monaco is kind of a lame answer, but it's fucking
like
Monaco.
They called it a parade race.
Yes,
Did you?
I caught that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that, but yeah, it's still fucking Monaco.
It's Monaco. Like I want to make my way onto one of those yachts.
Yep.
I want to.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I want to like.
How dope! Like we talked. Anyway.
So again, DMs are open.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got hookups in Monaco, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yachts, champagne.
I'm on a
Other
boat that
things.
looks like 20 times. Just.
We'll be cool though. We'll be cool. This is episode 75 of High and Outside. We are coming to you live
From a yacht?
From Tiger Woods' yacht in Monaco. How did we get here? I don't know. But it's awesome.
It'd be like the equivalent of like fucking Bill and Ted. It's like somehow you end up being like, how the fuck did we get here? Episode 75. It's like, holy.
So I think we've had the same 4 so far.
This is where we
Short of the
yes.
clarification on the World Cup final with the U.S. men's national team, we've had the same 4. So now, what is your 5th?
The Indy 500.
Okay. Fair enough. I've heard great things about the Indy 500. It's definitely on my list of events to go to. It again comes in that range of like, it just doesn't quite make the cut with the things I have available, because I picked Wimbledon. Those people who know me know that I love England, and that I really like. I'm a big fan of British culture and like movies and TVs and like all of that, and the idea of like when I watch Wimbledon, I'm like, and especially on center court, like I'm always just like, man, what a fucking dope ass thing to go do. I'm gonna go sit in the middle of the day on a Tuesday and watch the women's quarterfinal at center court. I'm gonna get some champagne or some rosé or whatever, maybe some strawberries. I'm gonna be dressed nice, and I'm gonna watch these people play tennis, and I'm gonna just do this thing and act revered and all those things, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna do that someday. I want to go to Wimbledon really bad. Yeah.
I had some tea before we started recording.
I had tea today too.
Of the English breakfast variety.
Very nice. So you had Indy 500. I had Wimbledon. Those are our 5 events we want to go to. Again, lots of honorable mentions. Too many to get to. So instead, let's get right into What's the Haps. Today on What's the Haps, we are going to focus on the NBA Finals. We're going to have Worm, our Southern NBA correspondent, come in to talk Finals, Game 1. We're going to recap Game 1, talk about what to look for in the rest of the series, any other NBA news, and we are going to be recording that episode coming up, so you're going to hear it now.
Hey, what's the Haps?
Welcome back, Worm. Our Texas NBA correspondent here to talk all things NBA Finals. We got Bucks Suns last night, or yesterday, or 2 days ago, was NBA Finals Game 1. Or tomorrow, today, NBA Finals Game 2. Worm, welcome back to the pod. What do you think, Bucks Suns? What do you like about this matchup? What are you excited to watch?
I think the favorite part I'm most excited about is probably just watching Chris Paul. I think it's the most exciting part of this whole finals is his story, his finally able to get to the finals and possibility of winning an NBA championship. I think that it's well deserved, and I'm excited for him.
Agreed. I'm very happy to have Chris Paul in the finals. It's the only real rooting interest I have in this series. I'm just rooting for Phoenix because I'm rooting for Chris Paul at this point. Every time he goes to a new team, he makes them better.
Yes, he does. Every time I think about that, and I want to go back and find that track or that stat line they played in one of the playoff games. It's just like how much better he makes every team
better. That Oklahoma City team that he was on last year had no business in the playoffs. They were a 5 seed and went to 7 games in the first series with that Houston team. Like he makes everyone better. What he's done for DeAndre Ayton this year, like holy shit. That guy's gone from being like, obviously he was the number 1 pick in the draft. He's always had all this potential, but his first couple of years in the league, he's been a little bit underwhelming. And now he's like a cornerstone piece for them. He's going to get max money.
Rising.
Yeah, he just basically unlocked him.
He did. Ayton had, 22 and 19 last night?
Shooting 80% from the field.
Yeah, exactly. 8 for 10 from the field.
Holy crap.
6 for 6 from the free throw line.
6 for 6?
Yeah, 22 and 19 for a 7-foot center. Like,
yeah, it was incredible.
He's playing awesome.
Yeah, he did. And he had one play where Cam Johnson kind of tossed it back to him, and he gathered it at the free throw line and just glided to the rim with a left-handed layup. And I was just kind of in awe in that play for a second, because sometimes you forget, because he just kind of gets put in pick and rolls consistently, which Chris Paul's just a master of tossing him alley-oops and running the pick and roll. But just be able to see how athletically gifted he is, I feel like there's still another level that he can go in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's very impressive, and he's so like athletic and almost like you said, he's smooth. He can he doesn't look like it's not jaggedy or like it doesn't look forced. Like when he tries to make athletic moves, it just looks like it works. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
some of those big guys, especially when they're young, they just look like like he's finally grown into his body clearly, and like
They look like lanky gazelles
yeah,
sometimes.
and like he just doesn't. He looks smooth, and like I said, he catches everything, which is like
does.
incredible for a point guard to know that they can throw it up and anywhere, and he will go get it.
Picks it up, snatches that
And he
rock.
just finishes so well at the rim, and he rebounds like crazy. He's like everything you want out of him. I mean, he could develop a little bit better jumper. He has a decent mid-range shot. If he could develop even more of a jump shot, he'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I think that all of that comes back to Chris Paul. To bring it full circle, Chris Paul has just unlocked him. He's made Booker's life so much easier. Mikal Bridges is a revelation. That guy. I mean, he's been good, but man, he's been really, really good. That guy has a long career in the league as a 3-and-D guy, and maybe more. And then what the hell is going on with Campaign? Where did Campaign
I don't know.
come from? Like he's gone from being like a bench
Hype man.
rider for the Bulls to now he's playing meaningful minutes in finals games and just getting buckets whenever you need one.
Bringing the pain.
Yeah.
I don't
I feel like the
understand.
last time I remember Campaign was him hyping him up, hyping Westbrook up on the sidelines.
Yes,
in
exactly.
OKC.
That's what I think of when I think of Campaign, not the guy who I watched in the finals last night. Thoughts on Milwaukee? I think my initial reaction is that Drew didn't play well at all. Giannis doesn't look 100%, which obviously he's not. He looked better in the first half than the second. And Middleton is they just this I don't know that they have the right matchups to make Phoenix, to give Phoenix issues.
But
Like-
we've said that about them before.
About
The
Milwaukee.
Bucks. Yeah, they've always been on the ropes and they've come back.
Yeah, but I'm talking specific. I agree with you that we've said that about them on the ropes. I'm talking specifically about matchups with Phoenix. I don't know that they have the right makeup to push Phoenix. If Brook Lopez is just going to get played off the floor, which he did last night, they couldn't play him. Like they're going to have problems because DeAndre Ayton's going to get 20 rebounds every night. And
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point. It's not that I think the Bucks can't come back. I'm just saying, looking at it from a pure matchup standpoint, especially with a less than 100% Giannis, like they beat the Hawks because Trae Young didn't play. No offense. Like,
Yeah.
I just like it. Watching last night's game, Phoenix is never in doubt. They should win Game 1. They're at home, obviously, but
The Valley.
it felt a lot of. It just felt inevitable, and that the matchups were really bad for Milwaukee. I got a question for you, Josh. I heard this posed by Simmons on his pod today. If the Nets are healthy and they're in the finals against the fully healthy Suns team, what happens in this series?
I think the Nets win in 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Nets in 5.
I was going to say
I
6
think
or
they
7.
just cook them.
I think they cook them too.
Just the
There's
ability
not
for
enough
them to
scoring.
score.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
eclipse the Suns, if you will.
There's not enough scoring. I think that the Nets, when they're fully healthy, are just like a complete juggernaut that the Bucks and everybody else in this playoffs are lucky to avoid.
Yes. The Bucks should be pretty happy that they didn't have to ever go up against the Nets for sure.
I feel like
At full strength.
the thing about this finals is like I'm glad that people are getting to watch Chris Paul in the finals, like obviously. But I'm also just glad that they're getting to watch this Phoenix team in general, because I feel like Phoenix has like a lot of underrated players that are not household names. Like obviously Ayton and Paul. Most people who follow basketball at all know about Ayton, Paul, and Booker. But Mikal Bridges, I already mentioned him. He's been awesome all playoffs long. He's been very good. We already talked about Campaign. Cam Johnson is just like knockdown. Like that guy.
He's silky.
He's
Yeah.
so good. Like he's so underrated. Like to have a guy like that off the bench that just creates spacing and shot making, like, and defense. I mean, he just. I don't know. I'm very happy that he's involved and that people get a chance to see him. Whereas, like, on the other side, like, the Bucks just don't intrigue me at all. I don't know what it is about the Bucks team. I just, like, don't care.
I've had a hard time watching them, to be honest. I haven't really watched much Bucks basketball.
Yeah, it's just like, it feels like it's Giannis or
he's really
Chris
good
Middleton
when he's 100%,
just, like, throwing a
obviously.
shot up.
Yeah.
It's either Giannis getting to the hole or doing his thing, or it's Chris Middleton just, like, trying to get a shot up.
No, I completely agree.
Neither of those players, like, Giannis is obviously a freak, and, like, some of the things he does, that chase down block that he had yesterday, to not mention that is a shame. Like, that guy, that's incredible. That guy does incredible things.
SWAT city, bitch.
Well, and he ran it down from so far.
Yeah. He's a monster. He's he's physical perfection, like we say all the time.
But I don't really care to watch PJ Tucker stand in the corner.
Yeah.
I just don't care. And
No, I
again,
agree.
Drew Holiday did not play well.
What's up with him? I can't like.
He's so
He
streaky,
shot terribly
man.
again. Yeah.
He's so streaky. He, like, I don't think he's quite the defender that he used to be when he was, like, one of those guys that was just completely locked down. And obviously, if he's going to have to guard Chris, which I know at one point they had Tucker on Chris, but, if he's guarding Chris all night or Booker, either one, like, that's a pretty tall task, but he has not been good
Gonna have bad time.
the last few games, and they need him to be good. We'll see where this series goes in game two. Game two tomorrow or tomorrow or today. If the Bucks, I think the Bucks have to steal one in these first two games, just because. Again, I don't like the matchup for them, and they got to get some momentum going in their side because it's gonna be hard to beat this team 4 out of 5. Again, I'm rooting for Chris Paul. It looked like a really fun crowd. Like it was a full capacity crowd in Phoenix last night. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it looks like a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed watching it. I also heard this on Simmons' podcast this week, and I thought it was interesting. He was talking about how Phoenix in mid-July has to be the worst location for a finals, like for people to travel to.
So
it's like
hot.
112 degrees there every day this week.
Apparently, there's another heat dome coming.
Yeah, so it's like,
which is awesome in not an awesome way at all.
yeah, it's like Phoenix. Obviously the finals usually in June. We've pushed ourselves to July.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix in July has to be one of the lower finals destinations that there's ever been.
It's very low on my list right now. We chanced it in Vegas.
We got lucky.
Got away with it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking. At one point, I think it was Phoenix during the previous heat dome 2 weeks ago or whatever, like 123 degrees. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, and it's been like 105
goddamn.
up in like Seattle, Portland.
Oh,
is crazy.
That's not
I bet
fun.
they're pissed off.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
None of those people know how to deal with that, man. That's not a thing.
They're all mad about it. A lot more iced coffee is being drank instead of in lieu of hot coffee.
Yeah.
Huh?
Worm. Any other thoughts on the finals before we wrap that up?
To be completely
I think
honest,
the other
we're also
big
both
thing-
very hungry.
I think the other big thing to pay attention to is the Bucks are gonna have to get to the free throw line and make free throws.
Yeah.
Because the Suns smoked them. They went 25 for 26.
Well, if
last
Giannis
time.
goes to the line too much, we'll fucking extend the finals to August. Jesus Christ.
The counting thing is hilarious. I'm not gonna
That is
lie.
so
The
funny.
entire
Oh, yeah,
crowd is
absolutely.
Why did he
counting.
just change a shot? It's so weird. Yeah.
You don't
He thinks
change
about it
your
too much.
shot like in the
Just
finals,
shoot it.
man. That's like
That's true.
Just
you
don't take
change.
6 dribbles.
Yeah.
Take 3 dribbles.
That'd be changing years of routine, man. You just can't do that in the finals. You just can't. Like you don't make a swing
Well, it's
change
not
on
like
the
he's
course.
doing well. Like if he was making even 60 or 70% of them, I would agree with you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, just make it 3 dribbles instead of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or anything other than.
Like just whatever you're doing, don't do that.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
On the free throw disparity, the Suns. I mean, the fact that the Suns went 25 for 26, pretty awesome.
Holy, that's almost statistically impossible. Like, that is amazing. 25
They
for
missed the
26?
last one.
Yeah, they missed the last one.
Oh.
They were 25 for 25, and
Fucking-
yeah, the garbage time foul.
That's a kick to the sprouts right there.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
a
you on
sunburn.
the free throw disparity. They need more from Giannis. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I get it. Giannis is not healthy, so, but they're gonna need him to have, like, he had 20 last night, I think.
That's not enough.
They
They
need
need, like,
40. They need 40
yeah.
point Giannis back.
They need at least 30. Yeah, they gotta get like 35 and 15 and 12 from that guy.
I mean, that's just a fact. Like, there's no way his backup is gonna carry them.
I mean,
to
Middleton
victory.
had 29,
Yeah, but
and that was their that was their highest scoring game. Which, I mean, again, Middleton played okay, shot it decent, but they need Middleton to do what Middleton did last night, but they need that plus Giannis's 35.
yes.
I mean, if you look at that, they lost by 13. Giannis had 20.
Mm-hmm.
If they have 35 and they get 30 from Middleton, maybe they win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Drew needs to hit more than 4 shots.
Yes.
4 for 14.
100%.
Just a struggle.
I mean, Drew was negative
Oof.
16 plus minus.
Oof.
Lopez was
Yeah.
minus 17. Again, Lopez was basically unplayable.
I was scrolling through the stats earlier, and I didn't realize that Chris Paul didn't score in the first quarter.
No.
He
just
had
went off.
32.
Yeah, he had 32. He went off in the second half.
Goodness.
All the shot making
Damn
that he
fine.
was making, he was just in another level. He had a couple of nasty step back threes. Just
Oh, yeah.
really gross. I mean, but when
He was just
even when you look
cooking
at the
Bobby
stat
Portis.
line, man, it's still Aiton's contribution that's like really jumps out to you. I
Yeah.
mean, Paul was incredible, 32 and 9, 32 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. But Aiton, 22 points, 19 boards, 8 of 10 from the field, 6 of 6 from the line. Like,
This dog is ridiculous right now.
yeah, he stays out of foul trouble. That's
Big.
the other crazy thing. He played
It's huge.
39 minutes last night. He played more minutes than Chris Paul. Like,
Yes. And he hits his free throws.
And he
So,
hits his free
stays out of
throws.
foul trouble, and you can't play him off the court.
yeah, that guy's awesome. Worm, any predictions for Kawhi or Dame or anybody else that you think might move elsewhere as we approach the offseason?
I don't think Kawhi's going anywhere. He wants to be in LA. I think he just bought a house in LA. I just don't think that he's going anywhere. I think Dane will end up pushing himself out
Yeah, I
as
think
nicely
Dame's
as
gonna get
possible.
traded.
I don't think he's going to do an AD, but I think he's going to do it as nicely as possible and try to get out.
It
of
seems like
Portland.
that's what he's already starting. He's trying to do this like game where he's basically like, I want you guys to let me out because I've been so good to this city, and I'd appreciate it if you did me this solid and traded me.
Where would you want him to go?
I wasn't ready for that question.
I've heard a couple of different teams floated. I heard the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fun to have him in New York just to have. But it's just like, what would it take to get him there?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's the Knicks. They'd probably figure out some way to fuck it up.
Right. I've also heard, obviously, that all the rumors are swirling about the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, that's any time ever.
Right.
Anytime there's a big time free agent.
But
it's
again,
gonna-
like, what do they have? They traded, like, everything that they had
I
to
know,
get
hold on.
Davis.
Mhm.
So it would have to be some combination of, like, Kuzma and picks and all sorts of stuff. And I just can't. Why would Portland do that? Like, I can't figure
Right.
out a trade that makes that work other than LeBron just cutting bait with AD and being like, you're too injury prone and being like, here you go. But I don't
Yeah.
see him doing that. Which doesn't make
I don't
sense.
think so either.
No, that would be, no. I don't. That'd be very unlikely, I think.
No, I agree. So, other than those two, I mean,
Simmons?
yeah, I mean, that's the obvious one, but like Simmons' trade value's never been lower than it is right now.
It's true.
Like, if you're.
But if Dame wants out,
Yeah, I mean, if you're
It's not a
Portland,
bad-
like,
ticket.
Portland has to
you
get
gotta
something.
get, but it's gotta be Simmons
It's for
plus.
Dame. Like,
It's gotta be Simmons
For fuck's
plus
sake.
picks plus Maxey probably.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can start talking.
yeah.
But
Thibault, maybe.
yeah, Thibault maybe.
I saw a rumor that someone said the Nets should trade Kyrie. I was like, the Blazers are not taking Kyrie.
Why would the Blazers take Kyrie?
That'd be back to the Corolla thing.
Yes, you'd be going from like a very
Except no, those are
very stable, loyal, beloved figure in your city, and you would be basically like introducing fire,
flat Earth,
and just being like, we're throwing this out there. We'll see what happens. It's cool. It can be good for you, but it also can really just burn the shit out of you.
This could go.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. Like, it would definitely be very interesting.
Dame with those two guys, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, Dame is. Or Kyrie is a very skilled point guard and a good shooter. Dame is like a next level type shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You add that to Harden, and Dame probably wouldn't even be the primary ball handler on that team.
Nah, he come off screens.
It would probably be Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Again, the Nets were a juggernaut.
Yeah. Do you think that Portland can do anything to keep him? Like a McCollum for Ben Simmons and trade type thing?
I mean, it would have to include in trading CJ because it's really the only thing they have. And I just don't. I don't know what CJ trade makes sense that would make Dame want to stay, because I don't think the Sixers would take McCollum straight up for Simmons. I think Portland would have to include some stuff there. And so, like, what else do they have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, you know, Kyle Lowry is the other big name out there that is going to probably move this year. But, like, you don't trade for Kyle Lowry to help Dame. Like, you trade for Kyle Lowry after you trade Dame. If you want to, like, or the Lakers. Like, that's the more likely name to me for the Lakers is Kyle Lowry.
Agreed.
Because he's a sign and trade. He's a free agent. Toronto knows that they're going to lose him probably anyway, so let's sign and trade him and get something out of it. So that one makes a lot more sense. I know that the rumors have been swirling about DeRozan.
Yes.
DeRozan's available, which is not surprising. So maybe something happens there. I could see him, I guess, in Portland. I think he makes more sense on the Embiid, like pairing the Simmons, like it makes perfect sense to me that the Spurs would probably have to include some stuff on top of DeRozan, but like bring Simmons down to San Antonio. They have the best shooting coach in the NBA. They're the ones who fixed Kawhi's shot coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they made Tony Parker into a competent three-point shooter. They made Ginobili a competent shooter. Like, bring Simmons to San Antonio. Pop will figure out the best way to use him.
Until he becomes a better shooter.
DeRozan can go become the primary ball handler who's not afraid to get his own shot anytime you want him to and make knockdown shots in Philly with Embiid and Tobias Harris and Thibault and Maxey, and you can just make Maxey your point guard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think both of those teams are now in better positions than they were at this current moment. I just don't know how all of the contracts and the value shakes out, because obviously you have to deal with Simmons' is a big deal, so I don't know how it all works out, but that makes sense to me. Anything else, Worm?
The only other thing I could think of is, do you think NBA teams are now looking for the next, like, Ayton prototype in the draft? I feel like for the finals, like, you have the ideal big man is Ayton. That's who you want from now on.
I do think that is happening. I think that you look at it's almost like a center renaissance right now.
Mm-hmm.
A renaissance.
Yeah, there it is. Got to it first. Hell yeah.
I mean, you look at like Embiid, Jokic. Those are 1 and 2 in the MVP, both centers. Ayton on the up and coming. I think Golden State loves Wiseman, and they think he can be Ayton in 2 years. Even Okongwu in Atlanta, like he didn't get a lot of playing time, but I think you could see with Trae Young, if he keeps kind of working that out, like I think he could be really good. So I do agree with you. I do think that they're now looking for that guy in the draft to hopefully
be that guy.
Yeah, they want that. They want that guy as a part of their offense, because everybody's gone to this whole like we got to be able to play small to close out games. But what it's done is it's basically like the teams who don't have to be small now have this weird advantage. Like, again, the Bucks couldn't play Lopez last night, and Ayton killed them on the boards. It's just, I agree. I think it does have some ramifications watching Ayton play so well in the finals. I do think they are going to be looking for the next Ayton, the next, Embiid and Jokic are kind of in their own little world. Just
I think so
they're
too.
both like kind of unicorns. Like they don't.
Yeah.
But Ayton is, we've seen DeAndre Ayton versions of DeAndre Ayton before. He's just a little more modern version of it.
Yeah. I like that James Wiseman comp. Like that's, I think Golden State thinks that he could be like that. Maybe not as good as Ayton, but like that. I also forgot that they have 2 first-round picks. Golden State.
Yeah, 2 like lottery picks.
Yeah, 7 and like 15 or something.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna find out how much they like Wiseman.
Yes.
Because they have 2 lottery picks.
It's pretty wise, man.
They have 2 lottery picks, and they have James Wiseman. If they want to make a deal for somebody that maybe we haven't even talked about yet, they have the pieces.
Right.
They're golden.
But I think they probably like Wiseman too much, honestly. Like, I just don't think they're going to move him.
I agree.
I think we see it every year, but free agency for the NBA is going to be very
It's always fun.
It's always fun. It's become a year-round sport.
Yeah.
As soon as the finals ends, especially with this weird schedule, as soon as the finals ends, the draft happens, and then we have, trade rumors, free agency starts. There's not a bunch of big name free agents this year, but
it just always gets interesting.
There's always somebody that wants out, like Dame, or who knows who's going to want out. What's going to happen with Chris Paul? We didn't even talk about that from a contract standpoint. Like, he has a chance to opt out if he wants, try to get more years. He can also opt in for a really big number. Are the Suns going to be willing to pay him because
he's
their
older?
Their owner Bob Sarver has a history of not paying people.
Yeah.
But be a real dick move to like win the title, and then be like, sorry, we
Get
can't
the
pay
funk
you
out.
anymore.
Yeah.
Your new starting point guard is campaign. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to watch
Cool.
that all play out. Thanks for coming on, Worm. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Episode 50. Can't wait to make more content in the coming months, and maybe we'll have a post-finals recap, pre-free agency kind of preview in the next few months. But thanks for coming on with us, and
thank you guys.
yeah, man.
Movie magic.
Thanks to Worm for joining us and giving us all the insights on the NBA Finals. He's been a very frequent guest on our pod, and we're happy to have him around. And hopefully, you'll hear more from Worm in the future.
Episodes, 50 episodes more.
Yeah, hopefully. We're just gonna keep pumping them out. We're like Nick Cannon in that way. So another list that we talked about is, speaking of podcast, another list, speaking of Nick Cannon, I don't know if he's on your list or not, but podcast guests that we'd want to have on our pod that are probably a little bit unattainable at this point in time. So we each picked 5. I've got a bunch of honorable mentions because I couldn't narrow it down. This was a hard one.
I couldn't, because I was having a hard time because nobody would want to talk to me. So it's really hard to wrap my head around inviting people who would then I would not make it completely awkward. So that really, that was a
Who was your first one?
existential crisis, if you will. Let's see. I got my first one I wrote down was Alex Honnold because he's climber.
Yeah, man, that dude's amazing. I've heard him on podcasts before. I've also just heard him on. I've obviously seen his movie or his documentaries and all that, but watched him a bunch on YouTube and stuff. He seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys you could talk a little bit about. You could talk about climbing and ask him all the questions.
Free soloing.
Yeah.
My God, I remember watching that in theaters and just my feet were sweating every time. It was nuts.
Yeah, that movie is awesome. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. I picked my first 2. I'm gonna just group them together because I picked 2 people that are mainly in my life through podcasts. So I have a lot of I don't have insights into who they are as people. Don't get me wrong, but I have a feeling for like the things that they're interested in and they like talk about, and I think that would be good. And they both are just like favorite pods of mine to listen to, and I like look to them for like a little bit of inspiration on ideas and also just like the way that they do their show. So my first two are Bill Simmons, the Podfather himself, who was the very first podcast I ever listened to. Obviously, was at ESPN, Grantland, now has The Ringer. Really good at just creating shit. Like, that guy's awesome. Simmons, who's into everything I'm into, basketball, football, pop culture, movies, music. That guy's just kind of into everything I'm into, except for all the Boston shit.
That's a knock.
Yeah, he's definitely a Boston homer, but you learn to live with it and kind of just like lovingly hate him for it. And it's kind of how I've come to like enjoy it. And then Chris Long, who obviously is not just a podcaster, longtime NFL player. Howie Long, his dad's Howie Long. He's a longtime NFL player, played for the Eagles, the Patriots, the Rams, won 2 Super Bowls, but now he does podcasts. Just seems like a real genuine guy, and his podcast is very like, it reminds me of our podcast just in the sense that like it's him and one of his really good buddies, and they just kind of shoot the shit. He obviously has a lot better guests than we do and stuff like that, but like they kind of just shoot the shit about sports and life, and like that's what I really enjoy about it. I really look forward to his podcast every week, because it's like some other podcasts I listen to where I'm like listening to it to really listen and like learn and like gain knowledge about sports or pop culture or whatever I'm listening to. But his podcast I listen to just to like listen, like it's just fun to like check out and listen to those guys like shoot the shit for an hour and a half. And it, so shout out those two guys. Those are the first two guys on my list. Who else you got?
Yeah, Dave Chappelle.
That's a great one. Really great call. Really great call.
That popped in my head. It's like, yep, that would be awesome. I've loved Dave Chappelle for a long time.
Yeah.
It's Half-Baked. Like,
That guy is amazing. So that's an amazing call. I'm honestly jealous I didn't think about it. My next one is Tiger Woods, which
T-Woo, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd be a good podcast guest because he's so like. But if you could get the real Tiger Woods to just like tell stories for a little while, and I don't even need him to talk about anything serious. Like, just tell me cool shit that you've done. Like, I don't know. Like, all the ups and downs that he's been through and like everything. I mean, if we could get into all of it, like I would definitely be into that.
That'd be one of those things, though, that I'd be like, sit there and like, have it on record. And just be like, all right, man, this never leaves or nothing like this.
Yeah, we're not even recording this.
Yes, exactly. Something, just honest answer.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be cool.
because that would be just really cool. It's like, who's the guy you hated the most?
Yes, exactly.
No bullshit. Nobody will ever know besides you and me. It's like, who's that guy? You're like, that motherfucker.
What's the most savage piece of trash talk you've ever put out in a locker room or on the range or right before the first tee shot? Like, where you were just like, you're going down, motherfucker. And like that guy just like shaking, like totally shook. My next one is cheating because I put 2 people on as one, but they kind of come as a pair. Desus and Miro from Desus and Miro show. Those guys are just fucking hilarious, and like I just want to talk sports with them. They're that's it. There's not that much else to it. Who's next?
Jason Sudeikis.
That's a good one. Coach Lasso himself.
Coach Lasso.
Soon, that new season coming out soon.
Yeah.
A couple weeks now.
End of July, right?
Yep. So, woo, Ted Lasso.
Love that shit.
Oh my gosh, and he's like I met Sudeikis actually.
Nathan has too.
Yes, and he was a really good guy, and
Nathan got a picture with him.
I did too. Yeah, he was willing to take a picture with us. He's a cool, genuine guy. Love all the things he does for Kansas City. He reps Kansas City really well. So yeah, love that.
A lot of money for Kansas
Yeah,
City.
exactly. Love that pick. It honestly makes me depressed, and I'm actually going to switch my last answer. So originally, this guy's now going to go into the honorable mention because my new answer is Paul Rudd. Sudeikis led me to Paul Rudd because I wasn't there, but I was in the genre, which is middle-aged white comedy actor, because I picked Seth Rogen.
Yep.
Seth Rogen, who's now sliding into my honorable mention spot because I would love to have Seth Rogen on.
But guy with Homer, man.
I got to go with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is a national treasure. He might have one of the higher approval ratings of like people in the world, or at least in the United States, I feel like. Like, if you hate Paul Rudd, I don't we don't need to associate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
I
Unless there's something, again, I'm going to disclaim anything really bad that comes out that we don't know about Paul Rudd at this moment, because right now we don't know anything really bad about him. But if something comes out down the road, this is before any of that, okay? We don't know about that.
7/7/2021.
Yeah. So,
750.
at the moment, I think he has one of the higher approval ratings amongst, like, popular people in the United States.
Keanu.
Yeah, Keanu.
Apparently he's like just the most genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Drives the subway, like just chills.
Yeah.
Has cool motorcycles.
Yep. So, Paul Rudd is my last one. Who's your number 5? Or was...
I have 2. So my last 2. Did I say Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
That guy would be awesome to
Yep.
hang out with. And then Ed McCaffrey, because I feel like I needed to throw in a sports person. He wore 87, which is like I don't know why I pointed the wall. There's nothing involving 87 on the wall. But like he wore 87. So, and he's a pretty interesting guy.
Did he go to Nebraska? Or one of his sons went to Nebraska? Or was going to go to Nebraska? There's a tie to Nebraska. It just came up because Christian McCaffrey was talking mad shit about Scott Frost on Twitter because of something involving them. So, sorry to dump on you, Nebraska. You're catching strays in this podcast for no reason. But I don't really care, so
They haven't been good in
sorry, Nebraska. I'm not actually sorry. Fuck Nebraska. Honorable mentions for me, Andy Reid, just because obviously, like, Andy Reid seems like a really dope dude. I just want to have, like, burgers with the guy and, like, talk about football for, like, as long as he'll let me. Self, another just homer coach pick. Love to talk to Self. Jordan, like, I don't know, just, like...
But he wouldn't want to talk to me like that's like that.
No, yeah, I mean, I get it.
No, that's one of those things. It's just like, dude, that'd be awesome to talk to him.
What are we talking about? Yeah.
You want to go play golf? No, I don't have $180,000, man. I'm sorry.
Shea Serrano was my last pick. People who know Shea, and why I would pick Shea. He's just an awesome, really fun guy. So so that brings us to this week's edition of the Clubhouse.
Nathan was not a host. There he is. Thank you, sir.
For those of you listening to us on the podcast, we had technical difficulties with our hat delivery. And by technical, I mean Nathan. So the biggest thing happening in golf at the moment, we had the Rocket Mortgage Classic last weekend. I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch a single moment of it. There was a lot of other things happening, and it was the 4th of July, and I just didn't watch it. I'm just being completely transparent with our listeners.
I got lost track of days.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought it was Saturday, but it was Sunday. So I
Right.
didn't get to watch any sports this weekend.
Oh, well, I definitely didn't watch the golf tournament, but I did watch the match, which happened yesterday, your 2 days ago. Right. Jesus. Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers and Beefy Bryson. And Bryson and Rodgers close them out on hole 16, winning 3-2. Really, I've found that I really enjoy these things. Like every single one that they've had, I've found very enjoyable. And I'll give you one guess at the reason why. And it's not watching quarterbacks hit golf shots.
No, it's watch Phil talking shit, right?
It's just watch Phil talk.
Yeah.
It's not just Phil talking shit. It's just Phil. Like, everything about Phil on camera, I'm freaking captivated by. Because he's talking shit, which I appreciate. But he's also, like, talking through every golf shot. And especially when he's talking to Brady. And he's, like, telling Brady how he would play the shot and why he would play it that way and all these things. It's just, like, so insightful because, you know, Brady is a good golfer. He's certainly a good golfer. He's a good athlete, obviously. Right. But
he's got some
he's still, yeah, he's still not a pro golfer, and he sprays shots. But to see Phil be, like, talking through these things is just it's interesting. And then you throw in the talking shit. Like, hole 16 last night, they're down. They're 2 down. They have to make this putt, and Phil works in a jab at Aaron Rodgers, like mid talking through the fact that they have to make this putt to keep the match going. They have a 20-footer. They're down. They're 2 down. They have a 20-footer for birdie. Aaron Rodgers has a putt from about 12 feet for birdie, and Rodgers been pouring them in all day. Phil goes into this whole bit about he's like, all right, Tom. Let's lock in. Let's talk about this. He's like, I want you to picture. It's fourth and 3. We're down 8. There's 6 minutes left. It's the NFC Championship game. We're not kicking a field goal. Because why would we kick a field goal? We're winners. We're going for the score here. So we got to give this putt everything. We got to get it there. We got to make the run. And you just see Rodgers is just like, this motherfucker is totally just calling out what happened in the end of the season last year, but working it into, you were going to make this putt to keep in the match. It's fucking amazing. It's just like so good. And man, I really enjoyed it. You know, Bryson hit bombs. I mean, they were playing in the most beautiful place in the fucking world. The big sky. Oh my God. I mean, I know Montana's amazing, but that golf course was insane.
Oh, I watched a little bit of it.
Oh my gosh.
I heard. Then I watched it on mute a lot because we were doing something else, but I got to also watch some. Yeah, it was pretty good from what I saw.
The views were incredible. They were playing at elevation, so all the balls were going really far. Like Bryson had like a 430-yard drive that was just like, like it just going, and then like
That's a long ass way.
There's a 777-yard hole on that golf course.
Driver.
It's par 5, by the way, not a par 7.
Yeah. How many yards again?
777.
777.
But they hit drives like 400 yards. So, like, it was like driver 3-wood to the front.
I'm thinking about myself.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's why I'm saying driver.
yeah, we would get killed at this golf course.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was awesome. I was in this weird place because watching that golf tournament because, you know, I really don't like Bryson. I think he's corny. I think he's all these things. And he was very corny on TV multiple times. There were a couple times when he was like being genuine and just telling us about his process that I found him interesting. But then he would be like, oh, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, oh, I'm so cool. I can't. Fuck you, dude. Don't be a dumb. Like, you're being corny on purpose because you think people will like you. Just be genuine. Be you and you'll be much better. But anyway, Bryson and Rodgers like ended up playing freaking incredible, but I was in this weird place where I wanted Phil to win, and I didn't want Bryson to win, but I also didn't want to root for Tom Brady because no, it's like against my religion, and I don't really like. It's against everything that I am, kind of. It's one of like a very core thing is to like root for Tom Brady, and like I can't do that.
I was at one point. I thought about texting you after like Tom Brady duffed one. I was gonna text you like, haha, fuck Tom Brady, but I didn't because I got sidetracked.
I sent texts to all my Packer friends just to say, hey guys, Aaron Rodgers is on TV if you want to watch him actually perform in something this year, because it's not likely to happen in football. Just saying. None of them appreciated that. So that brings us to the match. Kind of sparked another top 5 idea, which is top 5 people you want to play a round of golf with, because this is a different category in my opinion than the podcast guest, because podcast guests you're thinking like formal interview kind of, or at least like, you know, more structured conversation. Golf is like one of those things. Number one, you're going to spend a lot more time with them. You have to be comfortable enough to like play golf with them.
Be very bad.
Yeah, and like kind of have that general like, you know, when you're on the golf course, there's a lot of like talking shit and chirping, but like in a fun way, and making jokes and rooting for each other, and all of that is happening all at the same time. So it's kind of a different list in my opinion.
Yeah.
My first person was Pat Mahomes, which homer pick. No one's shocked by that. They're playing out in Tahoe this week. He's out at that celebrity event with in Tahoe with Kelsey and those guys. So that's awesome. Edgewood, shout out. Again, DMs are open. We're happy to come there anytime you want. Live podcast right from the beaches of Lake Tahoe, coming at you.
Your people call us.
You're gonna have to include a spot for Nathan, or we walk. But not seriously. If you can't do it, we'll still come.
Yeah. He's the first one to be voted on. All right.
Who's your first one?
I did Jordan Spieth.
I didn't pick a single pro golf. Oh, I did actually. I picked one pro golfer.
I could say I technically picked 2, or maybe 1.5.
Okay. My second one is Phil Mickelson. And it's all for all the reasons I just talked about with the match. Like, he just seems like a really fun, like he would like want to play, he would want to gamble, but he'd probably be the type of guy who would be willing to gamble for like $10 because he just wants to gamble and have fun. And he'd also talk me through hitting a shot probably, and like all these things. I'd pick up so much stuff and just like, I think generally enjoy his company. So I don't know. These matches have been great for Phil, in my opinion. Like just in my general perception of Phil and all that. Who's your second?
Though half, you could say, Butch Harmon.
Okay.
I saw him on the foreplay. Like, that dude is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Another one where you'd pick up a lot,
Yeah.
probably.
But, like, have you seen him?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, dude, that guy is just fucking awesome. It's like, talking about drinking beer with him, it's like, hell yeah, I drink beer with Butch Harmon.
Hell yeah.
Dude, yeah.
So my number 3 is Bill Murray.
Yeah, mine, yeah. You just know, man. I would love to play golf with both.
It sounds amazing. I mean,
Yeah. And he's really, like, yeah.
Larry's not white. Larry's clear. It's like... My number 4 is Obama.
Yeah.
He's a
I
great
saw that
he's a
and I
great
was like,
golfer. Obviously, like, would be incredible to talk to. Just to like, I mean, I'd just like whatever he wants to talk about.
Get your fucking mind blown with
Yeah.
some of the shit he's seen. Ask if there is really a president's book of secrets. I know there's probably not, but I do want to know. How many times do you think he's been asked that question?
A bunch.
But I'm gonna be that guy. What are you gonna do?
He'll probably be perfectly ready for it because of that. Who do you have number 4?
I have the foreplay guys.
Nice.
That should be fun. They just seem like cool guys.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Trent.
Oh yeah,
Right there.
I would love to play golf with Trent
Yeah.
for sure.
Right there. He's fun.
And I'd like to chirp at Frankie just for fun, because I know I could get under his skin.
Well, it's like me. I can see myself in Frankie sometimes.
Yeah.
Like not with his level of golf, but you know what I mean. It's like me and Frankie. I'm just like sometimes like, yep, yeah, the same.
I get it. Yep, I get it. My last one is Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I mean, he just seems like everything I've ever heard about him is just like he's like the most genuine person, and like he tells it how it is, and he's not afraid to speak his mind, but he's also like really nice, wants to help people, like funny. He kind of just like holds court with people. Like I've heard stories of him just like being in a hotel lobby and he just like buys drinks forever, and then just like kind of tells stories, and people just like, gravitate to the guy because he's just such that type of dude. So like I would love to play 18 holes with Charles Barkley. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they talk about it, about just what he does with the us mere mortals, like in the Dream Team documentary.
Yeah.
He's just the fucking man.
Yeah, he is. He's just the man. Who's your last one?
Then the good guys.
All the good guys.
Some of them are from Kansas City,
Yeah, that's maybe the most doable of all of them that we said.
right?
Good.
A lot of fun.
We're down for a match.
No.
We need strokes.
Yeah, we need a lot of strokes.
But
You have that
still
thing-
down.
Yeah, don't you have like 2 ways to like Kevin Bacon to that guy who played D1, like through the Dorman Cup or whatever, or
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe we could rope him in there. I mean, why not?
Fletcher.
Yeah.
We can get those guys. That'll be our 4. Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
It was fun.
that's this week's edition of the Clubhouse. This week, the tour is the John Deere, and also, like I said, the celebrity events going on out of Tahoe. So usually there's coverage of that, and a lot of fun usually because you get to see all the different celebrities, and then also, again, it happens at Edgewood, and Edgewood is awesome. It just looks amazing on TV. DMs are open. Hit us up. Moving on to...
Don't hate the player, hate the game, son.
We have to update all of our listeners on the Euro 2021 or Euro 2020. The second semifinal happened this afternoon. England beating Denmark 2-1 in extra time to advance to the final, where they will face Italy. A great final. It's happening at Wembley in London, obviously. So it'll be a very raucous English crowd. They're going to allow like 75% capacity or something. Today there were 65,000 people at Wembley for the England game, and it was loud, loud, loud. It sounded like a back to like real on, full on world soccer event. I can only imagine that the final will be equally as crazy, if not more. England hasn't won a major world title since 1966. Italy has won lots of them, but they were bad. They missed the last World Cup, so they're kind of like on the rise again. You had Italy in our pool. I had England.
Getting the shit kicked out of me.
In the pool, I did win. It's over. You can't even win anymore. But because of that, and just because I like to have a little fun, we have an Italy-England final. So we are set up one side versus the other. And so, of course, my brain thinks, what about another bet? And so I'm here to present to you the opportunity at a double or nothing type of arrangement. Now, it's not actually double or nothing. I'm not asking for a second jersey. I'm not asking for a full kit of jerseys, shorts, and boots. I'm not asking for anything like that, although that would be funny. But what I am... Here's what I would propose.
You're like a person.
Here's what I...
Hanging from the rafters. That'd be...
Here's what I propose.
Your proposal is...
If Italy wins, then nothing. You don't owe me anything. No kit. No nothing.
Alright. And?
Nothing. Like, if Italy wins,
No,
if England wins, then I still get the kit of my choice, which there are some options I want to hear from y'all on, but we'll talk about those in a second. I get a kit of my choice, and we go to a local field, and you play goalie while I take penalties in the kit.
What if... Alright. Fuck it. That sounds fun.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'll do that. Why not? But yeah.
All right.
Totally done with that.
Cool. All right. That's the bet.
Yeah, that's the bet. That sounds awesome.
All right. And we're going to put it on YouTube.
That's fun.
All right. There's the bet.
Fuck yeah.
Verbal contract. So, speaking of kit choices, just to give y'all a feel of what I'm thinking, I've been thinking about the Portugal hoops alternate, the teal alternate. It has like red and black like hoops all the way around. Pretty good looking kit. Don't know who I'd get yet. I don't really want to go CR7. It's a little too like,
Cliche.
yeah, it's just a little too mainstream.
Hashtag underground.
I think if England wins it, like I'm almost like have to get an England kit. And I will say the white England kit with the Lions logo and the seal and everything is pretty clean. I don't know who it would be. Sterling's been their best player. I really like Jack Grealish. Kane's been okay. I'm like indifferent about that at the moment with the Spurs like trade demands and all that stuff. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of meh about Kane. But I do like the idea of like a Grealish or Sterling's just been incredible. So those guys. The other one I'm thinking about is Spain. A Spain red Pedri jersey because that guy was incredible all tournament. He was really good for Barcelona this year. he's 18. He's like up and coming. Like we're gonna see him in the World Cup. Like it just could be like a good jersey to like get an early investment on the kit.
Yeah,
So
be at the start of the bandwagon.
Basically.
instead of the end.
basically, especially in the US.
Be and not the end.
So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know in the comments if y'all have any other suggestions. I'd love to hear them. Let's move on now to the weekly.
One thing I have to say is how many times have you taken a penalty kick in your life? When was the last time you kicked a soccer ball?
It's been a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it right at you. That's kind of the whole point.
That's fine, but let's see.
I'm not saying it's gonna go well.
Whiff alert.
I don't think I'll whiff. I just think I'll sail the goal. Like I don't think I'll actually whiff the soccer ball, because that's gonna be like objective number one is hit it. Again,
Whiff alert. That's all I'm saying.
well, that will be great for you if that happens. I'm sure you'll really enjoy that. But
I will.
I'm fairly confident. I'm fairly confident in my ability not to at least whiff. Like I may not make a lot of goals. Moving on to the weekly ING.
Are we skipping the rest of the lists?
There's only one list left, or there's two lists left, but they're happening in the next two sections. That's where I'm going to get to. So for the weekly ING, I thought we'd do things that we watch. So top 5, we're going to do 5 sports movies, our 5 favorite sports movies.
Unagi.
Yeah. My first one is Bull Durham.
Yes, I have Bull Durham on my list as well.
And I actually did rank these because I had originally done this as a ranking. And so this would be my list, but please don't hold the rankings against me because like it was I didn't fully like
It was on the spot.
analyze it. Bull Durham, like you said, is also on your list. Sandlot, classic.
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
Moneyball,
I got Moneyball.
and Major League.
Major League is fantastic.
All incredible movies. Movies that I left out that I was bummed to leave out include White Men Can't Jump, Remember the Titans, Caddyshack.
I mentioned that one for Love the Game.
There's lots of great sports movies.
Yes.
What else did you have that I didn't already list?
I have The Replacements. Mighty Ducks.
Shout out Falco.
Yes. That's a I fucking love that movie. And then Miracle.
Miracle's a good one.
Gets me every time with like the speech in the locker room. It's like one time. It's like, dude, gets me in. Beat fucking Russians. Like that's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'm gonna have to return to it for sure. I'm not really watching anything unique right now. Getting away from the lists. I watched F9, the new Fast movie. It's everything you want it to be. I'm still playing Mario Golf. That game rules. Very happy with that purchase.
Bring it this time.
I did.
Nice on.
Speaking of highs and lows.
Highs and lows.
My highs were playing golf this weekend,
Yep.
which we haven't played in a while because of our Vegas cancellation and whatnot. So excited to play golf this weekend, which leads me to our last list, which is top 5 games to play. And we clarified this as it's not like a video games, it's not board games, it's like what we would call like skill based. I would call like physical skill based games. So
Activities.
yeah, some of them are sports, some of them are not. I didn't want to do sports because that just gets muddy.
Yes.
So my first one is golf. We've already talked about that one. I still love to play basketball when I get the chance. I like to go just shoot baskets. I like to play, 2-on-2, like all those things. I still like to play basketball a lot. What do you got?
Golf, of course. Climbing. That's number one.
Would you put climbing above golf?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Climbing's more of a spiritual experience.
Okay,
And so, like, I fucking love golf, but I'm also a lot better at climbing than I'm at golf.
fair enough.
And then I got soccer. Like, soccer is, like, my favorite sport to play, definitely.
Cool. I got, this is more of a game. I got cornhole or bags. I still love to play bags. Like, I'm down always to play.
Fucking yeah.
It's a good time. I also have darts. recently rewatched the Ted Lasso dart scene like 6 times in a row in a day. I love to play darts. It's so much fun.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Yep. What else you got?
I have disc golf because I do, and then I fucking love ping pong.
That's a
Table
good one.
tennis, if you will. Nathan remembers we grew up with a table in the basement. We were one of those kids.
Yeah.
We played a lot.
That's a game that I don't know why I didn't think of that. I do enjoy ping pong. I also enjoy pool, which I didn't think about for whatever reason.
Pool's pretty fun, but I suck at it.
Right. And then, so the last one I picked, again,
Ball's another great
I may have picked one of those if I had been thinking really well about this exercise, and I might have picked foosball or pool or shuffleboard. I really like to play shuffleboard. But I went with a drinking game, Beer Die, for those of you who don't know it. It's a great game. And it has nothing to do with the drinking. I just really enjoy the actual, like, gameplay itself.
The bouncing.
Yeah. So, anyway.
My favorite drinking game is beer pong.
Yeah, I do love beer pong.
I love me some beer pong.
All right, wrapping up this episode 50 with our highs and lows. We already talked about highs of playing golf. My low is the summer blues. I tend to, like, for whatever reason, like, I get to this point in summertime now, it's so hot where, like, after the 4th of July is over, like, just get me to Labor Day, because, like, now I'm ready for, like, football to start and the fall and all this stuff. It's a really dumb, like, lame complaint, and really is not, I'm really doing just fine in my life, but I just kind of, like, get burnt out on summer fairly quickly. It and winter are the 2 seasons that, like, I like the first half of it, and then I'm, like, done with it.
Winter especially can fuck off. I'm enjoying the hot weather, and then I'm kind of I need like a vacation from my vacations. I need a weekend where I can just like stay at home.
We're doing that. I had the same thought this weekend. That's kind of I'm excited to just like be at home. So I get that for sure.
Play some golf, playing early, take a nap.
Yep. Just have a chill weekend. Totally get that. And with that, it's time for us to eat, man.
Waffle House.
Episode 50. Thank y'all for coming along for the ride. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to keep chugging along and hope to do another 50 more.
Make every episode better than the last.
Yep, that's always our motto. So thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next week for episode 51.